And now we're going to talk about a man who ate another man's penis.
I hope you realize I'm starting the episode that way.
Welcome to Morbid Message Monday. With Matt.
What an open!
That's how it's going.
Everyone here is having a great time. We had a hype train. People were subbing and bidding. And now, edible penis time.
Ah, yes.
Not the ones you find in Spencer's.
The important parts. Hello there, kindly viewer/listener, and welcome to another episode of Morbid Message Monday. My name is Jake.
And my name is Matt.
And today we have a tale of a lonely man, and all he wanted to do was eat his friends. Armin Maiwis, a.k.a. the Rottenburg Cannibal. Before that, however, we would like to thank Chris here for doing literally the most obscene amount of research on this ridiculously harrowing story. Chris, tell the world where they can find you.
Well, you can find me at The Chaotic Seeker, streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. for these two boys. And we just love having fun and making up weird stories. But this one is absolutely real.
This is not made up at all. This is a true story, actually. It's got some stuff. But with all that said, let's get into the gory details. Like, this really is horrific, though. So viewer discretion, viewer/listener discretion,
Get that guy to
is
200.
definitely advised. 100% advised.
Jake,
Yes.
could you ever imagine a person willing to eat another human being?
Yes.
What of a person who maybe... Oh, God. Well, this story's about you then.
Oh, I'm the Rottenburg Cannibal.
Okay, but what about somebody who wanted to be eaten alive? This
That
story
one is different to me. Yeah, that's a weird one.
This is not as fictional as you might think. As Jake said, viewer discretion is advised. Leave your food at the door, because this one will turn your stomach once or twice. I welcome you to the world of Armin Maiwis, the Rottenburg Cannibal.
I already ate my food, so I'm good. I'm solid.
You want to see it again? Because we're about to read this story.
There's going to be no puking here. But let's start with
I had shrimp scampi.
Oh, you
This is not going to end well for either of us.
Dude,
How was your
scampi
shrimp
so good.
scampi, huh?
was
Did you have it
delicious.
with breadsticks, the unlimited breadsticks?
I had
available
unlimited
at
breadsticks, dude. I had
Olive
unlimited
Garden?
Alfredo, unlimited 5-cheese marinara.
And
We
their
had the salad,
stupid
dude.
salads.
Oh, it's so good. I don't know. There was a time in my life where I was like, Olive Garden's not that good. And then today, that changed my mind.
Did you feel like family?
I'm glad you enjoyed
feel like
Italian
family.
McDonald's.
Chocolate lasagna, dude. Freaking let's go. They gave that to me for free because it was my birthday.
Chocolate lasagna?
So fun fact for you, Matt, actually. If you go to McDonald's in Italy, they have spaghetti.
They do.
Okay.
We've actually talked about that.
That's true,
Yes, we have.
That's old news.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
All right, let's start with who Armin truly was. Born in Kassel?
Castle?
Who
cares?
West Germany. In 1961, he grew up with his mother and father, as well as two half-brothers from his father's previous marriage. Armin was a happy boy for the early part of his life, enjoying playing with his older half-brothers and spending time with his family. They grew up between two homes, his father's home closer to Berlin, and his mother 33-room home. And
His mother's 33 room.
Oh, and his mother's 33-room home.
33.
In
Until
Rottenburg. That's
just
a
now.
lot.
Until just now, because there was a typo in this script, I didn't realize his mother had a 33-room house.
Yep, it was. I mean, I don't think it
I thought
borderlines
it's a-
a term mansion, but it is a
Yeah, I
33-room
was gonna
home.
say, I think that no longer falls under the term house.
I was saying though, like I was thinking that Chris wrote his mother who was 33.
That's
No.
what I thought. That's what I thought.
His
And I kept
mother.
It is
reading, I was like,
important to
wait a
know
minute.
that there were 33 rooms in this home for a reason later in the story.
Oh, good. All right. Well, at age 8, Armin recalled seeing his father leave the family, and Armin's two half-brothers, after a less than cordial marriage, Armin never saw his father again. Armin was left alone to be raised by his mother in her 33 rooms.
Hello, Armin. I'm your mother.
Okay.
Make sure you wash
Waltraud, shut up! Let's get to know a little bit more about Armin's mother. Waltraud Maiwis, what a name. She was a bit of an interesting parent, to say the least. Her marriage with Armin's father was not her first, but actually her third, following that separation.
Okay.
With the absence of Armin's father, Waltraud gave up on looking for another man, but instead looked
I
towards...
give up on looking for a man.
I love this woman now.
She's got a really horrible name. Like, the voice fits the name.
It really does.
Hello, I'm Waltraud.
She started to look inwards towards happiness, but she lived in a fantasy world.
All she saw was darkness.
She kind of took her huge house and treated it as her castle, and her son part of the royal family of 2, I guess. And when I mean she treated it like her castle, every room had a theme. She wanted to theme all 33 rooms to different themes in her fantasy.
To her point, like, what else do you do with 33 fucking rooms?
This is great. I mean, that's a valid question.
Aside from going, this one's a rainforest, this one's a garden, and this one's a torture room.
You turn one into like a basketball court. You turn
This one's where I teach my son how to be a cannibal.
Look, my bowling alley! I just now imagine that every room in this house now has to be themed to all the horror films. Like, there's a Carrie room, a Chucky room, like the Shining room.
I don't know if I'd go into a Chucky room.
I wouldn't do a Chucky room.
I wouldn't either, but this person ate people in this house.
Doing well, Lead Archer.
So,
Doing well.
Yeet. Let's go.
Yes, bowling pin. You're right. Not bowling ball. It was a bowling pin. That movie is amazing, Z Rimmers.
All right.
Can't agree with you more. If you've never seen There Will Be Blood, you should definitely watch it. It is a fucking gorgeous piece of film. Like,
I just started rewatching American Psycho because of random things. So
I watched that not too long ago.
Such a good movie.
All I can picture is Christian Bale going, "Hey, Paul," and then murder, and I can't get that out of my head.
My favorite part of that is that Jared Leto is not alive. Anyway, so Armin had soon become very focused on making sure his mother was happy, doing whatever she had asked him and even more. However, Armin felt alone. He always wished to have a brother, but knowing his mother would never marry again, he would only imagine what it was like, even going so far as to creating his own imaginary brother, Frankie. This is where things began to turn. Frankie is an important name. Remember Frankie.
Oh yes, Frankie's a wonderful person.
Real weird in just a little bit. While Armin stayed in line with what those around him could see, Armin started having thoughts about being close with those he loved, even as Frankie. Part of Armin's mind was that to be close with those he would love, he would have to consume them. Literally, he would have to.
So hugging isn't enough. He has to actually.
Hugging's not enough. He needs to literally turn into a gelatinous cube, and just.
All right.
How much closer could one person be than eating the flesh of their loved ones? Armin even started to have love for the childhood story Hansel and Gretel. Ooh, Hansel and Gretel was my favorite. Me, little Armin, I love it, but my favorite character is the witch.
That's never a good sign.
By the thought of having a loved person be eaten. By 12, Armin started having very vivid thoughts regarding eating his friends. I wasn't joking. This man does want to eat his friends.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the idea of fattening them up first before he began to eat them. He wanted to eat his friends so they could never leave him. And that is true. When you look at this character, not even character, this human, this person exists, and they're still alive. When you look at him, he actually did not see eating people as the worst thing. He didn't see it as like this taboo or this evil thing.
What the hell did he see that he thought was bad? Because
he saw it as
bad.
They can't leave. They can't leave him.
The thought of being alone is what fucked him up.
It's eternal love for him, right? Like, if you're inside of him because he's eaten you, Chris.
I know, it's just still the
one
process.
I guess it's just the concept is he thought that they wouldn't leave. Like, they're gonna leave. Like, biologically, they're gonna leave your body.
Oh, thank you so much for the birthday wish.
Yeah, okay, great concept to think about, Matt. Yes, you will shit out the flesh, but still, you've kind of absorbed the nutrients.
You're eating their soul, guys. Come on.
You will poop your friend out.
The point is that's depressing. And once his mother passed away, there was really no one to keep him in line. This is when his thoughts really began to take over his actions.
She was holding him back.
I'll bring up one thing that isn't mentioned here because it's kind of a quick thing. While taking care of his mother, he spent, I think it was like 12 or 13 years in the army. Like in the German army to try to keep himself in like control.
Gotcha.
Like away from his mother, but still in line. And those thoughts never went away.
Yeah.
I can just imagine. What do you want for dinner, sweetie? Your arm? What? Chicken leg?
You know, that calf looks really good right now.
What would you like for dinner?
You and a stew?
I want to.
My neighbor's son!
Well, mother, I would like to eat you for dinner.
Between 2000 and 2001, wow, this is actually really recent. Armin began to look and volunteer for his fantasy.
I didn't read this script.
I did read this. It's just I didn't kind of like I didn't think about how recent this was.
Isn't it?
Well, when you said that he was still alive, because I didn't realize he was still alive.
He
He is perfectly still alive right now.
That's terrifying. Between
Let's get him on the
2000
show.
and let's do it. Between 2000 and 2001, Armin began to look for a volunteer for his fantasy. Oh God. He posted an advertisement on a now defunct forum website called the Cannibal Cafe. Oh my God.
The Cannibal Cafe is a dark web website. It is not like public forum. It's not like a MySpace.
It is also gone. It is gone now.
It is gone. Yeah, you can't get that.
But also, I got to admit, I'm loving the Matt first time reaction. I know you've skimmed this, but your first time reaction is amazing to this.
Keep reading, buddy.
Because this is how I felt.
The website was built for like-minded people who were interested in cannibalism and the cannibalism fetish. Armin posted looking for a normally built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. I'm sorry. How do you...
Hey, Matt, do yourself a favor and scroll to the bottom of the script. You can actually see the post he made.
It's okay. I'm just like, I'm like, when you think about this, like, who the fuck is like browsing this site going, that sounds like fun. I want to be eaten.
Hey, Matt, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Don't be so close-minded, man.
Okay.
No kink shaming here. We don't do kink shaming.
No, that's true. We don't. There were many who responded to the advertisement, which is even more horrifying. The first opportunity arose from a man named Borg Jose.
Hello, my name is Borg Jose.
The names of these people he's run into are
He liked
amazing.
Star Trek, and he was from Mexico. Okay, move on.
Star Trek actually makes an appearance later in this.
He was from Germany.
Great.
Jose had responded to MyWes's regarding his advertisement, but he backed out at the true last second. And I mean this literally.
Yeah, because he decided he didn't want to be eaten alive.
But let's talk about where he was, Matt. Jose didn't think, you know what, this is a bad idea. I'm just not going to show up. No, Jose was on the record mentioning that he was on the table prepared to be butchered by MyWes. He was there prepped and ready. He had the salt, the pepper, the apple, all that shit ready to go. But then he complained to MyWes that he was ill.
At what point in this process? At what point in this process was it when he put the apple in his mouth? He was like, you know what? I don't think I'm feeling so good about this. That knife looks really fucking sharp. I don't think I'm okay with this anymore.
Hey, have a heart, Matt. MyWes willingly obliged and let him go. He never wanted anybody that he was with to feel pressured by their requests.
And admittedly, this is something that like I look at MyWes as he's not necessarily the most evil person. Like he did truly believe.
He did show his human side and said, okay, cool, you're not cool with this.
Well, he wasn't like, oh, well, you're already here, so I'm going to kill you. Like he didn't do that.
We'll have a discussion about this later, but there's opinions. There's opinions on this.
But I already have my fava beans.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
After Borg Jose.
Get the hell out of here, Life Frost.
Close. You're only like 6 months off. Sure.
But I'll give you a secret. It's Jake's birthday is today. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's great.
It is. It is amazing.
Good timing. Good timing.
Anyways, after Borg, many others did respond to MyWes, but would back out again and again. Armin, though, was a stand-up citizen. He would never pressure any of the people talking to him. He would never push them to come and visit him. He was always very cordial about making sure his dinner wanted to be dinner, I suppose.
I don't even know how you would pressure somebody to do that, though. Come on, you'll enjoy it.
Come on. You know,
fill my tummy. Get in my belly.
Just a slice. That's all it takes.
I mean...
Hans, I don't feel so good.
You're making a joke, but... Truthfully, you're
No,
not
truthfully,
far off.
yeah, truthfully, I'm not far off, but it's like, it's terrifying to me that people were actually like, yeah, no, that sounds really good to me. And then last second, they're like, maybe not.
I mean, they couldn't go the distance, you know?
At what point they were like, maybe I should talk to, I should talk to
Hercules
Jesus.
wants to be eaten, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay.
All
right, Matt.
Someday.
Oh, this is my part. Sorry.
We're about
This
to
is-
meet my favorite name.
Yeah, this is where we would meet Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes. That's his whole name.
Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes.
Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes.
I will
Stop
go
singing.
meet
Stop
my
it.
way.
I'm going to have to edit that. Stop that. Brandes was a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin who answered and followed through with meeting with Maywes. Brandes. Brandes. God, these
Mewies.
names are horrible. Mewies.
I will my ways.
Don't be
Brandes.
Germanish.
Brandes was a bit older and what Maywes was looking for, but Brandes was very interested in this offer and Maywes obliged.
Well, let's get to know a little bit about Brands.
Words are hard. They're German words, okay? It's the hardest language.
Is it? I think Russian would be.
I thought it was German.
It's German is a hard language.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm
denying
just
that.
thinking. I think when I see Russian language, I can't read it. At least German has they use the same alphabet that we do. Russia has their own, so it's harder for me at least.
That is very true.
Anyways, time to talk
I'm so
about
glad we're staying so on topic.
Yeah, so let's talk about Brandes.
Brands. Wasn't one of to have much of a childhood himself or normal childhood. Unlike Maywes, whose father left him, Brands' father died when he was 5 years old. It kind of messed him up from there.
I wonder why.
Well, it doesn't get any better in the fact that he was again raised by his mother, and when he came out to his family as gay in his teenage years, his family pretty much disowned him. Now, mind you, this is the 1960s when he was around this age, 1960s, 1970s.
Yeah, so it's much less accepted than it is now.
Right. But still the family kind of turned against him and saw him as a disgrace and less than the rest of the family.
You're not part of this family. You must get out. Brunts, I am disappointed.
Did they have brats?
Brats.
Now I'm hungry.
You're not going to be soon.
Trust me, I know I'm not. All these events led to Brandes having a bit of a fantasy, but unlike Maywes, who wanted to eat his friends, Brandes wanted to be eaten and hurt, and more importantly, eaten alive. There are accounts from his past lovers that would ask him to hurt him, punish him, mainly around the chest or his groin. We'll get to that a lot more. His signature request was always for his partners to bite off his penis.
That was really chill the way you did that. Very chill.
Very, very chill. I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can say the words bite off his penis calmly without sitting there going, ah!
I'll just bleep out the whole sentence.
Thank you. And this was while he was awake and aware. None of Brandes' partners were able to satisfy his request. That was all soon to change.
Oh, no.
Oh, for the love of God, Matt.
Yeah, so that, in Martian culture.
I don't know if I'm repeating that. I'm not going to repeat that.
I'm not going to repeat that. Hey, my good friend Chris, Matt, edit this out.
Yes.
May I request that you practice your microphone discipline, distance discipline? That's what my was doing. Anyway, on March 9th, 2001.
No!
That is a YouTube reaction only that you get to see. If you're listening to this on your podcast, check them out on their YouTube, because man, that's a reaction.
Yeah, we're there. We exist. Now, on March 9th, 2001, Brandes and Maywes met at Maywes' home in the small town of Westfield, just outside of Rottenburg. At first, Maywes and Brandes were discussing some of their previous conversations they had on the Cannibal Forum. They began to play out some of those discussions. Brandes was not too happy, though, with their encounter, saying Maywes was not strong enough to hurt and please Brandes. Brandes originally had asked to be taken back to the train station. Now, on the car ride back, Maiwes convinced Bronze that he could satisfy Bronze's needs, and they decided to head back, but not before stopping at a local drugstore in Berlin. When they got back to Maiwes' home, not Muse, Maiwes' home, he gave Bronze 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of cough syrup to ingest.
Jesus.
This likely left the victim a little tired and gave him a bit of a slow breathing pattern.
Okay, hold on. Before we continue, I want to be very clear for the listeners and the watchers. Viewer discretion advised from here on out. Because
this is territory that is very hard to listen to and read or see. Thankfully, you don't see any of it.
It's fucked.
But it's about to get really, really, really heinous. Thank you. That's good. You're right. I should have said that.
well, I'm just watching the script and I saw what the next sentence
I
is
know.
and
I started
went,
reading ahead and I thought, oh.
wait a minute. Hold on. Just for everybody, viewer discretion, I'm very sorry, but this is a true story.
I want everybody to open your minds. Don't be like Chris. Don't be kink shaming. I want everybody to be thinking.
I wasn't the king shamer. Matt was the king shamer.
I'm so sorry. Don't be like
did
Matt.
Not either.
He's kink shaming right now.
Go ahead. Read the sentence
Katie,
about
are you
this
gonna
wonderful
leave?
thing.
I'm going to say this before Katie leaves. The first horrifying event was the attempt from Maiwes to bite off Bronze's penis while he was awake. Now, after several more attempts, they both agreed that Maiwes would instead cut it off with a knife. Much, much better, cleaner, more sterile, important. It took multiple swipes with different knives, just but soon enough, Maiwes was able to cut right through like a nice piece of butter. Once removed, Bronze screamed, but only for a short period. He said the pain had gone away. I mean, he's 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of fucking cough syrup.
Yeah, but still.
So, hold on. It gets better. He said the pain had gone away. But Maiwes even stating that Bronze was in amazement of the blood gushing out of his wound like a fountain. So he was just looking down all,
Oh my god, that's so sick. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
It's fucking cool.
But no, that's the interesting the interesting thing. He found pleasure in that. This is what
enjoyed
Bronze wanted.
Yeah,
no, truly. And this is a point that I really do want to get across to you guys. Like, this is something that Bronze was like, I'm here for this.
Weirdly enough to say it was entirely consensual.
Yes, absolutely.
And voluntary.
Yeah. Now, after a bit, Bronze and Maiwes both tried to eat the disembodied penis, but could not eat it raw as it was, quote, too chewy. They didn't want it well done. They needed it medium rare. Matt.
Let's absorb that for a second.
In
In an interview with The Independent in 2016, Maiwes recalled the moment and was quoted saying, "It was a feeling I can't really describe. I'd spent over 40 years longing for it, dreaming about it, and now I was getting the feeling that I was actually achieving this. Perfect inner connection through his flesh. The flesh tastes like pork, but stronger." Maiwes went to the kitchen and began to cook the appendage in a pan with salt, pepper, wine, and some garlic, as well as taking some of Bronze's body fat to help with the cooking process. Gotta use that cooking oil. Maiwes was heard saying he overcooked it and fed it in chunks to his dog. Oh, the dog.
Listen. Like, I don't know what it is.
Not the dog.
I was able to read that entire sentence without even cringing, but like when I just saw the cooking with salt, pepper, wine, and some garlic, that's when I got grossed out.
Really?
The fact that he had a recipe for it.
The fact that he was just ready to go, like he was just like, boom.
Wasn't the body fat, using the body fat to...
Madness. I want you to understand. This, you said if he just wanted to dig in his mouth, he could have it done in other ways. Now, I understand that, but that's actually not what Maiwes wanted.
No, he wanted
Maiwes just wanted to eat.
Yeah.
Bronze is the one who wanted to eat his own phallus.
Ding dong.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think Maiwes was specifically focused on eating said penis. It was just any part of flesh. It was Bronze who wanted his dick bit off.
Yeah, no, he was like, that was like his thing. He was like, yeah, let's fucking go, buddy.
It's just
Oh my god, the image of somebody saying
very
that.
fucking wrong with that, but keep going.
Oh,
Now,
there's
following
more.
Following these events, Maiwes prepared a bath for his victim and left Bronze in there while he went to go read for a while. You know, just a normal mid-butcher read.
He actually
Checking-
states, he actually states what he reads. I forgot to include it. He was reading Star Trek.
He was reading Star Trek.
Oh,
good,
good.
good. That, well, I guess that's a point for Star Wars then.
Our fandom doesn't harbor cannibals.
Oh, well, we don't know that. Checking in on Bronze every 15 to 20 minutes while he bled out in the bathtub. As Bronze began to fall further and further out of consciousness, Maiwes grabbed a knife and hesitated in making a few swipes before gaining the strength to just kill him outright. He took Bronze's body and hung it on a meat hook. To say, he actually, he butchered Bronze the way that somebody would like butcher a pig. He like slit his throat, let him bleed out in the bathtub. Right. And then he took Bronze and put his body on a meat hook. This took place over 4 hours. And while the videotape has been kept private, he videotaped the entire thing. It's never been released to the public, but this was damning.
That's a good thing.
During his trial.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Again, that was part of their discussion, that they wanted it video recorded.
No, truly, like, I'm sure on this videotape you can hear Bronze going, I agree to this.
I do actually think that this disturbs me more than Picton.
No.
Wow.
No.
This one's more detailed than Picton was.
I think this one's more detailed, but Picton got up to more.
Like Picton did more, but this is.
I think that the problem between these two is one, Picton was like
the voluntary part that's like driving me nuts.
Okay, the voluntary, yeah, I could see that definitely. Picton, I think, is still worse. I mean, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously it's still worse, but like it's the voluntary part that's killing me.
So Bronze is actually more disturbing to you than Maiwes.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I finally made Matt squeamish.
A little bit.
Now, this took place over 4 hours. It was all videotaped. And Maiwes dismembered the body in its entirety. And over the next 10 months, he would eat parts of the corpse, keeping the rest of the body in the freezer hidden under pizza boxes.
Got to keep it fresh.
You know, those are some big body parts to just kind of like keep it. You should probably buy a new freezer. Anyway, it was reported
on how well he butchered it, I guess.
It was a big chest freezer.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It was reported that Maiwes ate up to 44 pounds of the body to curb his sexual appetite. Maiwes had also made this dinner special with princess potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and a nice bottle of red wine. Now, this is kind of truly the first time that we've talked about Maiwes having a sexual appetite for this, because from what I can see, he just had the urge to commit cannibalism, whereas he didn't look at, like, I don't think he was like rock hard while he was like cutting open this body and eating it, right? Like, I don't think that was something that he was doing. I think that Maiwes in general had the urge to eat people, but I don't know. And I mean, Chris, you'll know better because you read a little bit more than I did, but I don't know if he was doing this for sexual gratification or for straight up just to fulfill a need that he felt.
Well, it seemed like it was for a need, right?
So
that's how I see it. Yeah.
In an interview that I listened to with the psychologist that analyzed Maiwes, both for the trial that we'll discuss later, as well as while he's been in prison, we think of fetish as just purely sexual. You know, the dude's rock hard while he eats this dude or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a calm sentence to say. But there is a fetish in the sense that it wasn't just a urge for companionship or somebody to be close. This was a almost pure, like, cannibalistic urge for like wanting people.
Yeah.
And it's not that, you know, he's eating him as just
the entirety of a person.
He wanted to be so close to them.
And Maiwes' sexuality was never actually like clarified in anything I've read, so I can't say either way.
So we don't even know.
But there is a lot of tones to this, that there was a slight sexual undertone to his action. Brandis was actually a very high sexual tone to this.
Yes,
but
that's one thing that I wanted to say. Like, his was very much a sexual, like, erotic thing for him.
He wanted.
If I remember correctly, the first half of their encounter before they started going back to the train station the first time, I think Brandis actually convinced Armin to have sex first.
Oh, okay, he did.
Okay.
So I know that took place, but again, in the interview with Maiwes, he sits there and goes like, that happened, but he didn't make it sound like that was something he wanted. He just kind of obliged.
He did that for bronze.
Right.
I mean, I guess.
So I don't
what
know
do you
that
do
tone.
for the person that you're going to be eating. So
You tenderize him
he
first.
wanted to eat him. He wanted to eat him, dude. I mean, you gotta
did.
get him tendered
He
up.
did.
You
He
gotta
did.
butter him
Like-
up there.
So it's kind of taken in either tone, but there was an appetite beyond just. There was more behind it than just wanting to eat somebody and have them close to you. There was
Right.
an internal passion for it, for lack of a
Yeah.
better term.
Sure. Okay.
Oh.
Just to clarify, because like you said, there's not a lot about his sexuality out there. I don't think people really care. To be perfectly honest, I'm sure.
No,
I'm
well,
sure, like, the
I think there's.
psychologists
I'm
and
sure
shit
there's a
do, but
curiosity behind it as to like what drove that.
what
want.
mental
Yeah.
what mentally he was feeling. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end, we'll have a discussion about that as well as after this, because there's something that I saw that blew my mind, but alas,
Okay.
mind you, so to kind of recap, this first interaction all took place on March 9th, 2001. So Armin spent time, in this whole situation starting to consume bronze and just kind of going through this. By the last part around this time, actually in 2002, he was hungry again. And in December 2002, a college student actually came across a newer advertisement from MyWiz for a new victim. The student immediately alerted the authorities because he thought the wording of this advertisement was, suspicious and saying that he might have already killed a person.
Did he find it on the website?
That's something that's never
an interesting
clarified, but it's something that's stuck in my head is, how did you find this?
Right. That's
me
my thing.
also-
Because like, if it came from the website and he was like, "Oh shit, this guy actually wants to eat somebody," it's like
Maybe it was a
You
college,
browsing.
maybe it was
what are
just
you
a
doing,
college
buddy?
program.
maybe.
Well, and there's something that I want to state that we didn't state before. MyWes did not go as Armin on the Cannibal Cafe. He went as Frankie.
You're right. That's a fact I forgot. Is that his
So,
name was Frankie
Yes,
on
his
this
name
cannibal
was,
forum?
So his name was his imaginary brother in this cannibal forum.
Okay. All right.
So just like I feel like that's an important thing.
Oh no, that is a very important thing. I forgot about that completely. So thank you for keeping that one in there. That's good.
Yeah.
So after the student, which they never explained how he found this, but he found it. He alerted the police, and a few months later, Maiwas's home was raided. During that fight, I think they said it took about 3 to 4 hours, but they found the body parts and they found the tape.
Yeah.
But again, the stand-up man that Maiwas is, upon his arrest, he confessed immediately. There was no game, there was no smile or laughter, there was no lotion in the basket.
You found my dirty little secret.
He admitted to it outright and even expressed remorse and regret for his actions. Later down the road, he actually mentioned to police in during the trial that he actually wanted to write a biography explaining his life in an attempt to deter people, which is a really,
Oddly noble.
I mean, I don't know if it's noble though, because if you put that out there to try to deter somebody, you would also interest somebody in doing this.
Right.
I could see, I could definitely
In
see
my
this.
head.
I understand. Yeah,
he
you want
ex-
to eat people, I get it.
Apparently. He did express also to the authorities that he believed that at the time in Germany, there was at least over 800 cannibals just in Germany alone. So
doesn't
he was saying he's not alone.
Yeah. That's great. Don't go
No, yeah, that-
vacationing in Germany.
Honestly, it doesn't surprise me.
It's not a schnitzel on your plate.
All
That's where we end this episode. Just
See you later. Fuck.
His trial began with the court finding him fit for trial after being diagnosed with a schizoid personality. Following the given evidence and completing a full court trial, he was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to only 8 years and 6 months in prison. He would be released in August of 2012. So you only get 8 years if you eat a person.
Well,
No, not
Well,
exactly. And I would like to
initially.
say, as a side note, I know I talked about Bruce MacArthur in the last week's episode,
Yeah.
but Bruce MacArthur, who was more recent than Armin van Mewes and killed several other people, he was 2010 to 2017, and he was on a forum known as Zambian Meat. So there's still this kind of shit's still happening, like all
sure.
over.
It's never going to go away.
Now, in April of 2005, the prosecutors argued for a retrial, saying that Maiwes' actions represented murder rather than manslaughter, as Maiwes committed it for sexual gratification. The court found the first trial had ignored key evidence and information and ordered a full retrial. A psychologist was called in to assess Maiwes and report to the court that he believed Maiwes could reoffend. The psychologist noted Maiwes still had thoughts about eating the flesh of young people and could not deny the urge. The court found Maiwes guilty again, and this time was sentenced to life in prison.
See, part of me is like slightly.
We're going to be talking about that, don't worry.
Well, no.
If you look at the very bottom.
I know. What I'm saying is like the concept that it was consensual.
That's what I'm saying. Look at the.
We're going to have that conversation in a minute because, and I think that's going to be one we want.
Right.
So let's talk about where Maiwes is today. So Maiwes is still in prison and he is serving his life sentence. There has been no retrial, no attempt.
Yeah.
He has now announced that he is a vegetarian.
Good for him.
Yeah, I know. And
you can tell he's a vegetarian because he never shuts the fuck up about it. Anyway, go ahead.
You do you guys. And he says that part of this vegetarianism is to help, curb the future urges of flesh.
Sure.
But this is something that blows my mind. Some of those around him, even close to him today, would still say that Armin is not a threat to society anymore. And when quoted saying they would even trust their kids around Armin. And this is in the documentary I saw of this, they got his neighbors, his old nanny, the kids that he used to like babysit for, and they would trust him around their kids and their families and stuff like that.
I want to reiterate though, like he was fully he made sure it was all consensual, dude. There's video footage showing this.
And I totally understand that. But at the same time, you have to wonder if at some point does that consensual attitude towards this snap away?
Well, again.
Well, now you're getting into can somebody speak for themselves if they have some weird deviant desires?
We can have this discussion in a minute.
Yeah,
go ahead, Matt.
Whether that is the truth or not, we will never know. Maiwes' story got global attention and can be found in a lot of different forms today. In the music world, German band Rammstein has a famed song inspired by Maiwes called Mein Tell. Did not know that. That's one of my favorite songs, and now I look at it
You didn't know this?
I did not know that.
True fact.
Read this script.
So
I didn't get this far. No.
This is the fun fact that got me to think about this for doing it for you guys. Was I was watching a recording of their performance live.
Yeah.
And you'll explain it better, but it made me think about this song, which I read the story, and now we're here. Go ahead, explain what Rammstein does.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that. When performed live, the band will have one of their members in a pot as the singer shoots fire at the pot they sit in. Other references come from Ozzy Osbourne's song "Eat Me" and Marilyn Manson's song "Eat Me, Drink Me."
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, this happened pretty late, so these are later songs for these artists. Maybe not Marilyn Manson. Actually, even Marilyn Manson, because he was early, mid-90s, right?
Eat Me. Ozzy's just came out 2 years ago, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Oh my God.
Now, even TV shows, films, and 3 plays have been inspired by or portray the story of the Rottenburg Cannibal. But, for us, it is time to close the curtain on the person penis eater and another Morbid Message Monday. I'm sorry, I had to think of Morbid Message Monday, person penis eater, whatever.
Daddy,
Purple
look, it's the purple people penis eater.
Yeah, exactly.
Mein Teil, German for my part or my share, is also slang for my penis.
Yeah.
Yep.
You didn't know that?
I didn't.
It is a very
Based
interesting
on
show
the
live.
German cannibal. Armin Maiwes. What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
It is a fun thing to watch because it is he keeps pulling out different things. It's a great show, actually.
Rammstein is not the easiest band to watch because they do a lot of very strange things, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you really think of it, But his dog ate the penis? No, his dog did not eat the penis, Dad.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, his
Well,
dog
he ate the chunks of fat.
He gave he gave him chunks of the
He
penis.
fed the dog the overcooked penis.
Oh,
They
yes,
overcooked it and they couldn't eat it, so they chopped it up and fed it to good old Fido.
This
Well,
episode
Fido
doesn't get us a
had a-
fucking age flag. I don't know what will.
I would laugh so hard if we didn't. Like,
Suitable for all audiences. Oh, really?
for all audiences, yes.
Is
But-
this for children?
I want to. I do want to talk about further in this. I'm
The
going to say my
sentencing.
piece.
Yeah,
I'm going to
the
say my
sentencing
piece.
is strange to me.
Oh God, I'm
I
afraid
don't
of what
think-
your piece is.
I don't think my wish should be in prison for life.
Really?
No.
No, I and
Wait,
I know
let him explain it. Let him explain this. I'm
All right,
curious.
all right.
this is a literal case of manslaughter. I mean, like, I cannot think of a more literal interpretation of the term manslaughter than
True.
this.
Yes.
Listen, the act was consensual. Okay. Now, is it murder? I don't think so. I really, truly don't think so. I think at this point, he found somebody who, this could be almost seen as physician-assisted suicide. Not physician, but you know what I mean. Assisted suicide, as the person who requested that they were butchered and eaten. That is what they truly wanted. It's not like they were out of their mind when they said these things. Armin did not seek this person out and like give them some sort of crazy drug concoction that made them a little more suggestible. No, he didn't, because he barely was able to talk the dude into it in the first place, because the guy just wanted it for the sexual gratification.
Pills.
So I
They
looked this.
stopped and picked those up together.
So I looked this up, and the current definition. Now I think I actually read that the definition of manslaughter in the German law has changed due to this case. But the current definition is the illegal killing of a person by someone who did not intend to kill them.
See,
And that's why I would say he deserves the
He did.
murder case, because
he
it
did
was
intend.
premeditated.
But-
There is descriptions
While-
of how he wanted to die.
Well, and this is where I draw my line, right? Because like I agree,
Sure.
he shouldn't be for murder.
I don't think he should be for murder.
Do not agree that he should not be locked up somewhere.
I think he should be in like a mental hospital. for
Exactly.
sure.
I think he
Like,
should be in some sort of facility that he's never allowed to leave.
Sure.
But in the end, it was a consensual act. It was something that both parties wanted, both parties agreed to, and utterly completed.
Yeah.
But like, it's so strange to have that conversation, because you're like, the dude fucking ate the guy.
He did. He absolutely did. And he should like, and
He
of
ate
course,
him and killed him.
He's
Yeah.
seen as a monster as a result. And like, yeah, he ate another human. That's not something you should do, clearly.
Which, you know,
Like, that's not something that
to
should
be
be done.
fair, like there's a tribe in the Amazon that eats people. Like it does happen still, and like it's
I'm sure
still,
Jeff Bezos eats people all the time, but that's not what we're talking
it's
about.
still very looked down upon,
I'm just fucking with you.
as
Couldn't
it
help
should.
Are you though?
He consumes them when they go on too many bathroom breaks.
Yeah,
So
that's
see,
why they
here-
have to pee in the bottles.
Here's the thing. I get that it's consensual.
Sure.
It is still
But-
murder. If you look at the definition of murder, it is still murder.
Well, right. But I do get the concept that it is technically consensual. However, there is a level of, was it cruel and unusual, as well as the fact that, you have to believe that half of this is based on the fact that we shouldn't be eating people in this society is kind of
Well,
what this case is saying.
And then the
yeah,
other
yeah,
question is what about his victim, right? So you look at his victim and you think, was this person in a suitable state of mind to make a decision like that?
Well, when you're bent over with 20 pills of sleeping or 20
Right,
sleeping
right.
pills
So-
and a full bottle of cough syrup and you're just laying in a tub bleeding out.
There's a couple of things that are part of this story that we'll never get to know because he ate the fucker.
Well, and here's the next thing though, right? Like, were the sleeping pills and the cough syrup a form of mercy, or were they a form of suggestibility?
Mercy
and-
mercy in what sense? I'm curious.
In that this guy, this dude who was clearly not of the right mind because he wanted to be butchered and eaten,
Yeah.
he wanted all of this to happen to him.
Yeah.
Like, it is said very explicitly. I'm sure in the video it is said, right? We will never see this video either. That's never
Thank
going
God.
to be released.
I'll never watch it.
Well, it would
Why
be
would you
interesting-
watch it even if it wasn't
I
a
would
thing?
watch
wouldn't.
the very beginning so I can see the conversation between the two. I want to see the way that things transpire and then turn it the fuck off before somebody get their dick bit off. But my point being here is, was Armin Maiwes cruel and unusual, or were the sleeping pills a way for this guy who wanted to be beaten, he wanted to be maimed, he wanted to be brutally like taken the fuck out, not feel so much pain? And I truly believe this, because listen, Armin after a little while decided to slit the man's throat, right?
Right.
He slit the man's throat as a form of mercy, because
Right.
even what we stated earlier, he looked down at his dismembered penis and was like in awe at the fact that he had his blood gushing out, because this is what he wanted. Like
Right,
he couldn't
yeah.
believe that this was happening, right? So is Armin the monster here for giving him the sleeping pills and giving him the cough syrup? Because I feel like that's probably a point in this case that
No,
they were like,
I don't
well, he
think-
drugged him.
I
So
don't necessarily think he's a monster. I think it's gross that he ate somebody.
Of course.
But I think
I'm saying, you know,
that
like obviously
when it comes to these two individuals, they were in their mindset, right? They were in their, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to happen to me. So like in the end, it doesn't make him a monster. It doesn't make the other dude a monster, because like this is what they mutually wanted. I still think something is horribly, horribly wrong there.
yeah, of
Because
course.
you
with both of
shouldn't
them.
want to eat somebody, and you shouldn't want to have that happen to you.
Of course.
But it's
I don't think Maiwes
so
should have
strange.
gotten a murder charge for it.
So here's another thing. Again, for those listening, when I worked on this script, I didn't know how long this would take. So there's some things I did leave out.
Yeah.
When he was bleeding in the bathtub, there was a point where Brandis wanted to get up. So he got up and started to walk, but then would collapse. We'll get up, collapse, get up, collapse. Maiwes helped them into the room that had the meat hook in it, leaned him up against the wall, and saw that he was going in and out of consciousness. When he goes to slice the person's throat, it's not I'm going to do this, click, swipe. They say that when they are like the police that saw the video, they saw him pick up the knife, hesitate, put it down, pick it up again, hesitate, put it down, pick it up, swipe, and that's it.
He
So
wanted it to be done quick.
he had some humility about him when it comes to killing somebody.
And this is further proving my point, right?
Well,
Because
I'm just stating the fact out there, because I'm still in the sense that this, I mean, maybe prison isn't the best solution, but I
No.
think he would kind of need to be out of the general population.
sure. And that's why I said,
like-
mental home, I think is better. I think he's somebody whose brain should be studied
Yeah.
to try to
Well,
understand
and I'm sure he
kind
is.
of what is going on inside of there.
Yeah.
Is there a way to prevent these sort of things from happening to a person?
Stop reading kids Hansel and Gretel.
Well, sure. I don't think that's it. I think there's obviously more to it. But
We
my
need to ban that story.
I think my point being here is, does he deserve life in prison? And I still don't believe so. No.
I believe he deserves to be in some sort of containment for the rest of his life.
Yes, he should be monitored and he should be made like, but I don't think he should have to live in prison-like conditions.
And he's in prison, right?
'Cause he's not-
in a mental
He-
facility.
Yeah,
He is in prison.
Okay.
He's not a serial killer.
He's
There's-
actually, I believe, in a max security prison. Like he's in. It's not like
Which
he can't
is-
see anybody 23, hours a day. It's not that bad, but he's in like a higher level security than normal. Where is?
Well, and he's even taken steps. I know it's ridiculous, but I mean, he's taken steps to try to better himself.
I mean,
he's vegetarian to try to stop the urge of flesh. And
good.
I want to once again state, he went through a process to find this man.
Yeah.
You think about real, honest to God serial killers, that urge is not met and they go out and kill.
Yeah.
Like, serial killers don't always go on these forums, right? Like, for instance, Bruce MacArthur, who we should probably just talk about him at this point. He was a serial killer. He preyed on men, and he would prey on men on these forums. The difference between Bruce MacArthur and Armin Maiwes is when they would say no, Maiwes was like, okay, live your life. I'm glad you decided this. I'm going to respect that decision. MacArthur did not. Therefore, MacArthur is a serial killer and a serial murderer, whereas Maiwes, I think he's still a manslaughterer.
So here's something that I just found that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to look up like the name of the prison that he's in, but I actually found something weirder. He's a part of a German prison release scheme, is what they call it, where they release him into the public in controlled bursts, in a disguise. He always comes back to prison, but he's actually allowed to walk in towns.
They do this. They do this in Germany. Yeah.
So he's a part of that system now where he is released into the public ire for, for good or for ill.
Germany actually does this with bad people too. Like they actually, so there's a show
he is
on
considered
Netflix.
considered a high, like to the German court system, he is considered a danger. So he's not like in your like low security. He is in a higher security prison. Well, yeah. And according to
like I said, I'm not trying to say that, it's okay to eat somebody. But I think my point here is in Germany, they actually do this. There's a show on Netflix called The World's Most Dangerous Prisons. And one of them in Germany is known for letting serial killers, serial rapists, murderers actually back into society. Is in the German prison release program. That's a really good. That's a good point. I think that maybe Armin Maiwes is a good candidate for specifically that, but I feel like it should be in a more mental institution state. Whereas, because listen, Germany, from what I can tell, believes in what I believe prison should be, which is rehabilitation.
Okay.
Over punishment.
I don't disagree to that.
Yeah,
I don't.
No, it totally is a good thing.
And that's the thing, right? Like, and I feel like they do believe that. That's why they have the German prison release program. I don't think certain people should ever get out of prison. I truly, honestly don't. But I believe in the rehabilitation over punishment every single time because it's like punishment doesn't do anything. Punishment is what makes people worse. Right. So when you look at the German prison release program, Maiwes is a pretty good candidate. So I feel a little bit better knowing that. Yeah. Shocking.
It's a weird statement I was expecting. Circling back to the end of our circling back to like the end of our script, I just wanted to kind of give people a concept of how recent some of these things are regarding to like.
Oh, it's terrifying how recent this was.
Not so much like the case, but even today in like the social public. The Ozzy Osbourne song you referenced came out in February 2020. There is a new play called created in Denmark called Cannibalen, and it is literally centered around this that got released this year.
Wow.
It had to be oh my god. Apparently the opening night was a smashing success in the point that there were a few ill people in the crowd, but this was a thing. There have been 3 plays all in the last, 5 or 6 years. And actually I've never heard of the band Skinned, but they have a song literally called Armin Maiwes that just came out. Like this is still very much in the discussed public for good or for ill.
Sure.
So like, it ain't no like Willie Picton.
It's something, man.
No.
I don't think anybody's writing a song about pig farming.
There are plays about Willie Picton. There's songs about Willie Picton.
Why? See, that's my question. Why plays? Who sat there and think, you know what? I want to do an interpretive dance of cannibalism.
Let me explain.
Artists are weird, man.
People like weird shit, dude.
Yeah, artists are weird.
People are listening to this podcast right now. Okay, like
this is actually one of our top ones too, because there was like 17 people in here at one point, so people were enjoying this clearly.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we'll call it enjoying, sure.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, though,
I would hope not, Chuck.
At the end of the day, I think it is important to make the distinction here that Armin Maiwes isn't necessarily the type of killer we normally cover.
True.
Because the killers we cover are truly, to the core, the worst of the fucking worst kind of people.
Yeah.
Absolutely heinous. Now, Armin Maiwes has a taste for flesh. It's bad. It is. Absolutely. Not good. But at the end of the day, is he evil to the core because of it? No. And I truly believe he is not.
Debatable.
And see, that's what's something interesting. And I think Matt's reaction to this whole thing is actually a good example.
Mm-hmm.
This was, again, completely voluntary. And I don't think we can stress that enough, that this
was voluntary.
Just because it's
Truly.
voluntary, though, does not make it any less horrifying.
No, and that's what makes this so interesting is that this is, like, to Matt's case, in some aspects for Matt, maybe not for everyone here, but for Matt, this may be worse than the Willie Picton case for him. And this was agreed upon, discussed, planned, and executed by two willing individuals.
Listen, this is a lot ickier.
And other
At the end of the day, it's gross.
It is.
Can we
gross
know
to think about.
Other people offered themselves. They backed out, but that doesn't mean that there weren't. I think they said that. I think
But that right there, that statement, they backed out and they're still alive.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is
I'm
that
just
you
saying,
don't
man.
actually. Do you know? I think Armin said he
sure.
talked to over 50 people before he got to bronze. So think about the fact that there are like at least 50 other people that are in some case thinking on one side or the other that
Right.
almost had this happen to them.
Well,
so they
that
are
might-
out there.
How many of these people have actually gone through with it and not been caught?
Well, I don't know if we could ever figure that out because they are probably dead.
Yeah, that's
Well,
like,
Willie Picton was a foul human being, and to an extent, I would say this person's foul too for wanting to eat a human being, but
He's
different.
different.
It is a different level of foul. I will admit to that.
well, and that's the thing, right? I do have a little bit more of a hard time believing that this dude is just the worst evil kind of person.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's evil. I agree. I don't. Think
I
he's
don't
evil.
put him on a pedestal with Willie Picton.
No.
Not even close.
I would say
I don't put him on a pedestal with any of the killers we have talked about.
I would say as a person, he's probably the nicest person you guys have ever talked about. But
Well,
from
yeah,
a crime perspective, I think this is like on that same level as Picton in regards to the detail and like the absolute fucked up.
The stomach turning nature of it,
Yeah.
sure. But what I'm saying is the crimes are in no way on the same level as Willie Picton.
Right. It's just kind of the reaction that you're going to get from the fact that this dude was very detailed about what he wanted to do and all that stuff.
He had a whole plan and he prepped it, and like I get it.
As weird as it sounds, I think that's what made this fun for me to write, is because it's like, this is disturbing, but the more you listen to other people and you kind of research this guy, some people are very much on the defense that he should be released because they think that, you know, it will, again, all voluntary and that he wouldn't do it to anybody else. But then at the same point, I'm sitting there saying he thinks that those he loves best would be seen as consumed.
Yeah. That's,
I don't want to be a loved one of his because you know
not
I don't
at
want to
all.
be that close to you, buddy. I'll just send you a Christmas card from across the country. It's okay.
But folks,
But folks,
this is where we end tonight's episode of Morbid Message Monday. What do you think? I want to know. What do you think? Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube.
Is he your favorite?
What do you think about this case? Do you believe that Armin Maiwis should be in life for imprisoned for life for murder, or is this more of a voluntary manslaughter sort of case?
Matt, did you
Right?
just ask if he's your favorite?
Yeah, I did.
Is this your favorite?
Is he your favorite cannibal?
I think
Should
of
we
all the
cover more cannibals?
Yeah, would you like us to cover more
That's
cannibals?
a better question.
These
Yes.
are good questions for YouTube to comment on. So
Drop
if you,
them down in the chat below, for
if you
fuck's
made
sake.
it to this point in the video, comment,
Do you want to see a
comment
Bruce
down below.
MacArthur series? I'm more and more kind of inclined to do it at this point because
To Matt's
it
point,
is a
also,
doozy.
congratulations to anybody who's made it through this whole thing. And if you made it through this whole thing without pausing, go get yourself a paper plate and write an
You
award
get a
on it because you're
smiley
amazing.
face.
You
sticker.
deserve some cake.
Yes, you deserve some cake for my birthday, which is today. And we
I
talked
don't
about
recommend
cannibalism.
eating cake after hearing about a dude eating things because you don't know what's in that cake. But
I already know how I'm editing all of this.
Don't eat some brats. You
Already
know,
know.
right after this, probably won't be eating any brats for a little bit. But that is where we leave you, folks. I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever happens to be you're having. Chris, thank you so much for the insane amount of research, the insane amount, like the dedication is truly unrivaled in this scenario.
I pasted again. Go give him a follow. Get this guy to 200.
Go follow the Chaotic Seekers for fuck's sake. Twitch.tv/the_chaotic_seekers for those of you on YouTube.
Let's come have
we'll
some
also
fun,
put a link
guys.
in the description down below. Fucking go follow a guy.
Someday he'll join us on YouTube.
Yes. I hope you have a great day, night, evening, whatever happens to be that you're having, kindly viewers /listeners /penis eater. And well,
goodbye.